Exclamation, everybody. Welcome back to Sunday Ramblings in Cube World. It is Saturday night for me right now, November the 23rd. I'm hoping to get this episode out or recorded and rendered prior to big Doctor Who event tonight, the 50th anniversary event. I have to watch it, or else I'll have to turn in my geek card, and that won't be fun. I'll be an unlicensed geek then, and you won't be able to go around talking about geeky stuff. At least not legally, anyway. So today my main goal is to sack one of these castles. I've picked Vardar Castle here, mostly because it's on my level. The other castles are red. They're well above where I'm at, and I've tried to penetrate their ranks, but to no avail. So I'd like to at least get through one of these. Also, I feel like a bit of an idiot. Today when I went to start up Cube World, for whatever reason I was compelled to look in the options menu. I don't know why, I just felt like looking at it. And I'd never realized this, but apparently after the first update to the alpha back in July, when Wale added the frame rate limiter that was limiting you to 111 frames per second because some people's video cards were melting down. Well, it turns out, I thought it was just a permanent feature, but it turns out that there's actually an item in the options menu to turn that off, or to set it to a higher rate. I did not know this, and I've been playing all this time on the default of 111 frames per second, when in fact I could have just turned that off altogether. And that's what I've done this time around. We'll see how it fares with the frame rate. I mean, I haven't been having real frame rate issues. It's just, from time to time it would be nice to not be tied to a certain limit. So yeah, that's a thing. Also, been pretty busy. Lots and lots and lots and lots of games, indie games I've stumbled upon this week. It's it's almost to the point where it's like I would almost go out on a limb and say that it's a resurgence of the indies. Like this, I think if this is not the year of the indie, then we're getting very close to it, because I don't recall ever seeing as many indie games out and about in the wild as I see today. Particularly with Kickstarter and Indiegogo and other funding, alpha funding and all those kinds of things. So I've been pretty busy trying to get my hands on as many alphas as I can and try to, absorb them and maybe see if I can make videos of them. So one of the things I've been working on, and you'll see the video of this, I've already put it up this morning, was Robot Roller Derby Disco Dodgeball. That was a fun little game. I quite literally stumbled onto that one. It was in my... I have several RSS feeds set up, and I don't remember which one it appeared in, but I was, eating lunch at work one day, and it just popped into the feed, and I was like, oh, right away, I just thought, I have to play this game. I have to see if it's as good as it sounds. Sounds like it would be, and it was, and it is. I don't know why I'm talking about it in the past tense. Um, so that's great. In fact, I a few hours after I uploaded it, a few hours after I made it public, because I usually upload overnight when it's a little bit the network traffic isn't quite as bad. A few hours after it went public, I actually got a tweet from the dev, thanking me for looking at it. So that's awesome. I don't usually get any feedback, so it's kind of nice to hear. They also also made me aware that there are more game modes and more maps coming for that. So in that video, I talk about how I think they need to redo some of the maps a little bit. And apparently that's already on the list. They're already doing it, so awesome. You really should go check that out if that's multiplayer type of thing. Is it? It's a nice little game for 10 to 15 minute spurts. Excuse me, my voice is all over the place right now. So yeah, that's a great thing. What I did forget to mention though is that there is actually, I was playing the beta, which is a paid for thing. They have a humble widget out there for it was at $5 to get into the beta. There is actually, and I noticed it later when I went to dig up the link to put in the description. I noticed that they also have a free, what appears to be a free alpha demo in there, which is a little bit earlier version. So you might be able to just try it for nothing for a little bit and just see how you like it. I mean, otherwise it's $5. I mean, not a big investment by any stretch of the imagination. So that was cool. Also, during the week I bought into the Humble Mobile Bundle 3 that has several games on it. That I thought was kind of interesting. The one that I really primarily bought it for was called Swordigo, Sworddigo. That one is a 2D side-scrolling sort of Zelda-like RPG type of deal for the tablet. And I thought, hey, I've been looking for a good mobile game to record and play, and so I installed that and started recording it. And I'm not very far along, but I got about 45 minutes to an hour recorded. So hopefully, after I get some more of that recorded, hopefully I'll be able to start putting out videos of that, do a full Let's Play of it. I usually generally wait until I've had about 4 or 5 hours of footage before I do that, mostly because I want to make sure that I don't give up on the game, so to speak, because I have that tendency. I am sort of a little bit ADD when it comes to games. I jump around to multiples, and I wanted to make sure that before I start a series, that I don't give up on it. Unlike Minecraft. But then again, Minecraft is a never-ending thing, so it doesn't really matter. Eventually, you're going to give up on it. So that's why I didn't mind doing Minecraft series. Also, I bought into the on Indie Royale. They had the Sigma bundle. That has several games in it that I thought were kind of interesting, at least from a spacey sci-fi theme. 3089 is like it's a voxel-based, sort of looks like Minecraft kind of game. But it's closer to it's closer to Cube World as in terms of mechanics, gameplay mechanics. Um, you're basically a robot. You've been sent onto a planet. It's like an FPS. Well, it is an FPS. Um, you're robot thrown onto a planet, and you fight enemies and build structures, and you know kind of the basic sandboxy type stuff. There's quests that you follow. So I started to look at that. I just wanted to get a feel for it before I decide whether or not I want to actually record it, because I'm coming to a sort of a what could you call it, like a conundrum in a certain way. There's a bunch of games, especially sandbox games, that I want to play and I have on my list here, but the very nature of a sandbox game requires lots and lots of time put into it, and which I'm not afraid of doing that. Although the nature of it, if you do enough of them, your series are not going to be every week, every weekend, and I'm going to start doing that. I'm start to employ the whole, it'll be the next episode will be out when it's out, when I get a chance. I still want to have a few series that are regular, because I feel like that is a necessary thing. But you're going to see more and more of my series are going to be sort of, especially the sandbox ones, are going to be, whenever I get a chance. Cube World here will continue to be an every week thing. Although I am thinking of, and this comes to my sort of second point about the sandbox games, I'm thinking of potentially expanding the Sunday Ramblings thing to not just be Cube World, but also be some of these other sandbox games. I don't know yet. And I've talked about this a little bit before as well. My idea was that it would be, my original idea was that it would be Sunday Sandbox Ramblings, where I would just pick a sandbox game, whatever one I felt like playing, and have this same type of format where I just ramble on about games. I don't know if I will do that yet. And the reason is, I feel like I can get away with it in Cube World because I started doing it even before I realized I was doing it. And it's just the one series, so, people don't like this, they don't watch it. If I start to introduce it into everything else, it, might be a more bitter pill to swallow. But that said, and this is the conundrum I'm facing, sandbox games, by their very nature, don't really have, well, they have a story, but the story is driven by the actual player. You yourself are coming up with the story. You are the storyteller. And as such, when you're recording videos, you need to have something to talk about, some kind of story to do. And I've tried a couple times, and I'm trying it again with my Minecraft Sunrise series. I'm trying to have it where I'm focusing entirely on the game and just talking about just game stuff, game-related stuff. My problem is that, number one, I'm very scatterbrained. So whereas you look at some of these other big, like, Minecrafters who can come in, do 30-minute episodes 3 times a week, again, talking about whatever they can talk about. The ones that I see tend to be talking mostly about the game. Very rarely do they talk about other things outside of it. And that's usually because they can focus. Like they have, before they start recording, they have a certain task or a certain job that they're going to do, and they go off and do it. I have tried on numerous occasions to do that, particularly in Minecraft, and I just for some reason I can't. I set a goal for myself. I say, you know, that was the whole point of my Minecraft Sunrise thing, was not really to necessarily make fun of Create the Monument maps, although I sort of am parodying. Wow, let's try to pronounce that correctly. Parodying Create the Monument maps a little bit, but really it was just to try to get me to focus on some kind of objectives, you know, so I could say, okay, this episode I'm going to do this episode I'm going to do that. It's not quite working yet. I'm sort of focused, I'm sort of not, and I don't know if I'll ever get to that point where I can just say, okay, this episode I'm going to build this, or this episode I'm going to do that. But I'm trying, and hopefully if I get to that point, then I'll feel better about the series itself, because I won't be rambling on about other things. Also, it'll allow me to keep some of my ramblings isolated to Cube World here and not have to pull them into other series, but we'll see. I might end up rambling on in them just like I'm rambling here. Particularly since I really want to play, and I mentioned this, I think in the last episode, I want to play Blockscape. I've been around in it a little bit. It's basically a Minecraft alike, which is apparently now a thing. Unless you really want to call it an Infiniminer alike, which I guess you could do. Where you go around just building stuff right now. The only thing they have implemented right now is the creative mode, or as they call it, the God mode. That one, I really want to start building something in it, although, you know, I'm a terrible builder when it comes to these things. But I really want to do it. I really want to spend some time in it and show it off, see if other people would like it. Particularly, you know, drive some interest maybe to the game. However, in order for me to do that, I need to have something to talk about. Because I'll be sitting there just, you know, there's not a whole lot to the game yet. You know what I mean? So you can't really talk too much about the game. You have to talk about other things to pass the time while you're building. So we'll see. I'm trying to figure out how to segment my topics a little bit. Because I don't necessarily lead a very, you know, exciting life, so I need to talk about something, and usually it's games, since that is my passion. Alright. So now I got that out of there. Also, in the Sigma bundle from Indie Royale, the Star Void was another one on there. I don't think I've installed that yet. I planned on doing it, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I want to see if any of these are sci-fi games or something I really want to play. I played a little bit of 3089 just to see what it was like. And again, I'm still the jury's still out right now as to whether I'll do any recording of that. So you should go, you know, check those out. I think both of these bundles are almost up. So if you want to go throw some money at them, at these indies guys, you'll have to act fast. I'll leave links in the description as always. All right. Before I talk about more stuff, I'll do a quick Kickstarter update here. The mandate, the thing I've been talking about quite a lot, and to the point of being, you might be sick of hearing about it by now. They are up to $444,271. They had a huge push this week since the last time I've talked about them. So they are almost to their $500,000 goal. They only have 8 days left, though, so it's going to take another hefty push to get them over that limit. But that's great. They also announced that they're going to have David Bradley, who is an actor known for several parts, but more recently for his portrayal of Lord Walter Frey in the series The Game of Thrones. He is going to be lending his voice for some voice acting in the game for the Lord High Admiral Suvorov, who is the head of the Grand Fleet in that game. So that's really cool. There's also a video I haven't watched yet, but they've put a video up with his voice in it, another trailer. So you might want to run over there and check them out. I'll leave links to their Kickstarter as always. Also, The Memory of Eldorine. They are at $22,628 out of their $150,000 that they're looking for. So they're still struggling quite a bit. They have 14 days left on their Kickstarter. They sent out an update just recently that the demo itself has been updated. Apparently, from what I understand, the world has been completely redone. You know, the look and feel of it, if not even the map of it, in this new update. It's been a huge update, so I will try to get into that again, and hopefully, I've been trying a few things on my computer, like in the NVIDIA control panel, so maybe, possibly, hopefully, I can stumble upon a setting that will allow me to actually record that game, so you can get a good look at it. We'll see. I'll try again. So that's cool. So that is the Kickstarter roundup. There's a couple other Kickstarters that I just started participating in. One of them, a lot of them are just sort of these ASCII art type dealios, but both of them are sci-fi. One of them is called Tiny Trek. They were only looking for $4,000, and they've already surpassed that. They have about 27 days left, I think, on their Kickstarter. So that's pretty cool. That is it's a episodic, well, dynamically generated episodes in the game. Apparently each episode is going to be 3 to 8 minutes long, and it's all generated by the computer as you're going along. So instead of missions, you get episodes, and it is much like it sounds like. It's a Star Trek-alike type of game that as you go around exploring, you have a crew, you have a ship, you know, explore worlds, fight aliens, all kinds of things. So that looks pretty cool. Hopefully we'll have something. There's no demo as far as I know of that, so we'll have to wait and see how it turns out. Also, there's another one out there that I forgot to actually write down here, which kind of sucks. Approaching Infinity is the name of it. That one's also a sort of an ASCII 2D top-down roguelike in space, where you're flying around your ship from top down, and you know, every movement you make is just like a normal roguelike where nothing moves until you move, that type of thing. That looks pretty cool. That has an alpha demo available, so I might try to get a video up of that if I can, but we'll see. As I said, there's so many things that I want to play right now, and so many things I want to record, so we'll see what I get the chance to do. So that's cool. Some other things outside of Kickstarter. I've been looking at a game called Phoenix Universe of Space Combat. They don't have a demo out yet, but they said that there will be a demo next month coming. So I've been keeping up to date and following them on Twitter to try to find out what's going on. But this one, the reason this caught my attention is this is very much like a game called Subspace, which was a sci-fi top-down 2D arena space fighter type of game where you were a little spaceship in an arena setting, and it was multiplayer. So you'd fly around shooting at other guys, shooting at other players. The community also had several other things, like there was like a soccer-like game where you could score goals and just play it that way instead of having a PvP type of thing all the time. That I played back in the day, Subspace, I played the hell out of it. And it was never really a released game. It was designed and developed to be a release game, but it was the original publisher of it just dropped it. They stopped development on it. And the community picked up on it and just ran with it. They, got the client, they updated their clients, they, got new servers, they did all kinds of things. And since I've been in a nostalgic mood lately, I thought, it's been years and years since I've played it. Probably back in 2001, really. It's the last time I think I've touched it. And I wanted to see if it was still around, because I'd heard that they were having a... they'd been on Kickstarter, or not Kickstarter, they'd been on Steam Greenlight, and I think they were actually greenlit at some point. If not, they're still on there. And I thought, let me go back and take a look at it. I think their current iteration now is called Subspace Continuum. And you can still download it for free and all that stuff. You don't have to pay for it, from what I could tell. However, at some point along the way, they went insane. It's the only way I can to describe it. There was always a big, the community was always very anal retentive about cheating. They were a good community in other ways, but when it came to cheating, they were always like, "Oh, this is terrible, this is terrible." And to be honest, there was quite a lot of cheating along the way. There was a lot of client hacks and mods that people would do. And there were other annoying little things, but really, honestly, it wasn't that terrible. From a guy who used to play it all the time, I can tell you, I never really encountered that much. So I don't really think it was as bad as people believe it was. Now, maybe it got worse after I left the scene. I don't know. Who knows? After I left the scene, like I was a member of something. But I went to go download it, and they have all these warnings on the site about cheating and all this stuff. Oh, it's not tolerated and all this stuff. And apparently, like, the client that they have out there is, it does all kinds of checking on your system for certain programs. And if it finds them, it refuses to let you play. Now, one of those programs is antivirus software, which is freaking ridiculous. Like, I'm gonna keep a Windows PC around with no antivirus software on it. Are you serious about that right now? That's ridiculous. There's no way in hell I would do that. So at some point along the way, they lost their freaking minds. So it was very refreshing. I'm very happy to see somebody else is just coming back into the scene and going, you know what? Let's do this better. Let's do something better about this. And that's what this whole Phoenix universe of space combat is. It's basically 2D top-down, ships, or sci-fi spaceships in an arena. They've also gone steps further. The community of Subspace had provided sort of map editor type of things, but you had to go searching around for them and stuff like that. But this developer has he's got a map editor already. He's already got servers, server beta that'll be coming out, or demo, I should say, coming out. Map editor demo coming out. There's the whole 9 yards. It is what it should be, in my opinion. He's also supporting, it looks like, Linux and Windows, which is good for me because I if I want to run a server, it'll be on a Linux box. I only have one Windows PC around here, and it's the one I'm playing right now on. So I am really psyched for this. I want to see this come out. This will be, the demo will be next month, as I said. That's what they've alluded to on their site. So you might want to go check it out. Get up to speed with it. They've a bunch of videos and media out there, and keep your eye peeled. And I certainly will as well. And perhaps keep both of your eyes peeled as well. I don't know why I said just one eye, but just maybe you want to keep both peeled. I don't know. Or maybe you're just driving and you need to keep one eye on the road. Whatever. I'm going slightly batty. Another game that I've been following, that I'm waiting patiently for, although I don't know if it'll be the type of game that's up my alley or not, but certainly has intrigued me. It's called Rogue System, and it'll be a single-player military-like space sim. So, what the hell does that mean? Basically, it's you'll be your player character will be, in a military setting. You'll be like a fighter pilot, or I think there's like strike fighters or interceptor pilots, so one or the other. And I sort of emphasize the space sim part of it because it is very much a simulator, not necessarily an arcade type of deal. So, as I've mentioned many times in the past, I'm more of an arcade type of guy, but every so often I like to jump into simulators just because, hey, I just, every so often I just like to have that control over the simulation, over the game. In this case, it's going to be, from what I've read, essentially Microsoft Flight Simulator in space, which is not a bad thing. Well, actually, I should say Microsoft Combat Flight Simulator in space, which is not a bad thing. I've played Microsoft Combat Simulator. It's essentially going to be very, very, there's going to be hardcore sim stuff in there, but also it sounds like there's going to be some AI as well to take over some of those duties. So instead of being forced to control every aspect of your ship, every little knob and button, you can have the AI take over some things. So that's really cool. You can even have the AI start up the ship on your own, on its own, without you having to do the whole startup sequence and everything else. But then again, if you want to do that type of thing, it'll be there, which is great. I mean, that's like, that appeals to me from an arcade standpoint, but also, if I want to fine-grain control, I can go do it. Also, the sim doesn't stop there. They've also got a video out where they're talking about the orbital mechanics, celestial bodies. Literally, celestial bodies behave pretty much like they're supposed to. There's gravity wells, there's all that fun stuff. Also, there is docking. There was a recent update from the developer about docking and coupling. Essentially, your ship can dock with another ship or with another space station, say, and then that can also be coupled to something else. Or, for instance, I think one of the examples he gave was that you can have a capital ship at some point in the game. So, in other words, you could be you can own several fighters, you can own a capital ship, and then they all can dock together, so that fighters can dock onto your ship can dock into a space dock, or couple with other ships, and you know, so on and so forth. And then you have a sort of first-person view where you can just go and walk through. As long as everything's coupled up, you can walk through all the different corridors of the ship, of the fighter, of the space station. So he's working a lot on just making sure all these components couple together and that there's docking mechanics and everything else. So that is really cool. That's also really, really hardcore sim stuff right there. So I am very interested to see where that goes, where he takes that. There hasn't been, as far as I know, any word on any kind of demo or anything like that. I think it's still way too early yet. But I'm keeping my eye on it. Alright. Made short work of this this guy here. So it looks like we've cleared out this whole catacombs. I don't think there's much left here. So I think we made a lot of progress today. Got through a castle, even though it was a sort of a low-level castle. Oh, take care of this guy. And we've pretty much sacked a catacombs here, which were higher level than us. So we got quite a bit of loot to go through, I think. I've seen a few things flash by, like the fabulous wood wand, which I can't use because it's a wand, but whatever. I'm sure there's something in this batch that I can use, probably. Alright. So, I think I will head back to the city now and actually get my inventory squared away, sell some things, you know, the whole 9 yards, and see where I can go with that. So, in the meantime, I'll just keep on rambling a little bit here, because I don't feel like leaving quite yet, although I am running a little bit low on time because I don't want to miss the Doctor Who thing tonight. I've also been, I mentioned a few times that I've been working on recording. Oh, these guys have respawned. Huh. Alright, well, we'll get a little bit more XP then. I also mentioned a few times that I've been continuing to record Wing Commander Saga. It's a nice free fan-made game that was about 11 years in the making, and it's been out for a while. I've had it on my hard drive for quite some time. I actually played the prologue a couple years ago when that was the only thing out for it. And then I downloaded the full thing, you know, again a year or so ago. And played the prologue again for the new one, which is actually changed a little bit from the prologue that I had played previously. And that's all I did. I got as far as that, and I started running into just ridiculously hard missions. And I sort of gave up because there were other things going on, and I just wanted to... Other things caught my attention, and I just never got back to it. Well, that is one way to get back out of the catacombs. Alright, like I said, I'm going to just head back to the city here. There's no point in me going back to there. So yeah, I've been playing that, and I wanted to make sure, because I knew that there were several missions that were, you know, balls to the wall hard in that game, even when you're on easy mode, which I've been playing on. I wanted to make sure that I got a significant part of the game, if not all of the game, under my belt before I started to edit the video and begin to prep it for upload. Unfortunately, I forgot that the the game itself was quite long. It's about, I think it's going to be about 50 missions. I'm about 40 some odd now in to it. I'm not quite done yet, but I know I'm close to the end because all my guys are dying. I also know the whole Wing Commander backstory as well, so I know where we're at story-wise. And that's what I love the most about the game, is that it really is, not only is it a fan lovingly created game, but it's very faithful to the story and to the arc, and it has a lot of voice acting and a lot of story actually in it that supports the main story, the main canon that we know about from the Wing Commander games themselves. So I'm very happy about that game. I will be releasing the videos on that soon. I am 17 hours. I've got 17 hours of raw footage, unedited footage in it. And I'm sort of at the point where I need to actually start editing it because I'm running low on disk space. So I need to actually start getting something done. So you might see that pretty soon. I'm going to keep them to half-hour videos whenever possible. And also, I'm trying to add my own spotlights in the game. So there are parts of the game where it gets kind of tedious. You know, I might be sitting there in the blind spot of a carrier, just an enemy carrier, just sitting there pounding it away at it with not much else going on. And rather than just cut away from it, I'll instead add some of my own flair to it, or whenever I can, where I can just add to the storyline and just give you background on the history and what's going on behind the scenes and what you're not seeing in the game. And I'm planning on doing that throughout the game because I really love the Wing Commander universe. So I have a lot of knowledge about it. I'm also going to look up a bunch of things that are just to make sure that I'm accurate. So I'm really excited about that. Hopefully I'll have something on that very soon. All right, so we're back in the city. I'm going to do my thing, get some stuff sold, and look through all the loot that I've collected and see if I have anything to wear. Because I think I picked up a few amulets and stuff. So hopefully that'll be good to go, and I have to make sure I put my skills here. So let's get some, let's level up here properly. All right, that'll do it for today. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next week.